commercial logging on the web.
And that's the news. I'm Jim Baker. Welcome to The Bridge. Fun conversations on culture, life, and everything in between.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Bridge. We are a show that connects East and West. My name is Jason. I'm originally from California in the U.S., and now I am located in beautiful Wuhan, China. Today with me is Alex.
Hello, everyone. I am Alex Shi. I am from China, and I am talking to you from Beijing, China. Super far away from Jason.
Suggestions, comments, anything you would like to share, email us at welovethebridge@gmail.com. We love the bridge. You know, one of the things, because today's topic is remote work, and this is kind of remote work because we're in different places.
I was very impressed with how this was set up in the beginning, that we can just use this web portal and we can use our own device, and I could hear you instantly, real time, and we have a recorded episode even if we're not in the same studio.
You know what's really interesting is I am at home. I'm recording from my own studio. We've taken great lengths to set this up as a studio in my home. And this is, as a kind of remote work, one of the things I do every day, and I read on one of these many different websites about remote work because everyone is becoming familiar with remote work, is I got up in the morning, I took a shower, brushed my teeth, combed my hair, put on normal clothes, not pajamas, so that I was feeling professional, because that's what I read that people who do remote work are supposed to do, is treat remote work like it's work. And the only people seeing me are my wife and cat.
I love how you count your animals, your pets, as part of your family member.
She's like my daughter.
Aww.
Yeah, I love my cat. My cat the other day, my wife was like, well, what if this and what if that? And I was like, wherever we go, whatever we do, Nene's coming with us.
Aww.
And when Nene dies, I'm going to dig grave for her.
Oh, let's not think about that day yet. It was back in 2010. I remember my parents were dropping me off at a meeting. I was like, oh, this is an internship, but we're going to have a team meeting together. And they're like, where are you guys going to meet? Where's the office? I was like, we don't have an office. We're going to have a meeting at Starbucks. And I remember looking at that face was like, who are these people you're going to have a meeting with? That they don't have an office and they're, working in a Starbucks. And then after I came back from the U.S., the whole shared workspace thing became really, really popular. And parents, again, had a hard time grappling with this idea of, teams and companies sharing one space. But really, I was freelancing before my current job a lot, most of the time. Unless I was on a longer project in my company, I would be just working from anywhere, my home, a different coffee shop, and actually unless I had to be on a conference call, other times I really enjoyed that feeling of just putting myself in a different coffee shop every day, and working from an environment that doesn't make me feel like I am bound to my desk. So I really enjoyed that.
I'm middle-aged, so often I feel a certain comfort from being in an official place to conduct one's business. There's something almost comforting about it. And I work in a school, so there's teachers' lounge, there's a coffee machine, and seeing my coworkers in person, and then having chats that they're not about work. And I don't know, maybe I'm just too old and it's more challenging for me. But I worked in Beijing very briefly as an English tutor in a company. I'm not sure, I don't remember the name of the company, but they were in the Van Tone building in downtown. And their entire platform, their entire business was built around renting office spaces.
Ah.
So instead of going to a Starbucks or whatever, a lot of businesses that didn't have their own offices that needed meetings, they would rent an office on every Monday from 7 to 10 a.m. or whatever, and maybe Fridays from 3 to 5 or whatever. And so they would have office space available in this building, and they would just have different companies coming and going, having meetings in their offices, which were provided to other businesses which didn't have their own formal offices.
Remote completely, I could get up to, I guess, almost 8 to 10 hours a week now because I'm going into the office. There's commute that would cost me 2 hours for one day to just, either way of transportation, whether it's subway or a taxi, it's going to cost me an hour one way. If I could go for 2 hours,
I've talked about this on the show before, and I want to talk about it again, because when I read this as an American, thinking about the economy in the U.S. and some of the new trends, I found this really fascinating. In the United States, a lot of people have been pointing to people not returning to work as kind of like a protest against the working conditions and wages. I also think, having read a lot of other data, that's not an entirely accurate portrayal of what's going on, and I think our listeners would be interested in it. So, when it gets to the fact that, people may have retired slightly earlier because of the pandemic, so some people are going to retire, 2 or 3 or 4 years, it's just like, okay, well, I just do it now, why not? So that's part of it, but, it's also not about, kids saying, I don't want to work on McDonald's for minimum wage. It's not entirely about that, although that may be part of it because people are maybe living together with their families more, and their parents, and that's fine in this day and age. I think it's increasingly accepted in the United States culturally. But it's also about, a lot of remote workers, and this is what I really found fascinating, decided, hey, Philadelphia or San Francisco is expensive. Why would I work here and remote work? Yeah. So a lot of them moved to some pristine, beautiful town on a river, somewhere else in the country where they could just buy a house with it if they were renting. And now they're like, hey, I have this opulent house and I can just work remotely here. And a lot of people did this, en masse, in millions of people. And they're not living where they worked previously, and they're remote working in these more idyllic situations. So here's part of the mismatch is suddenly these restaurants, fast food establishments that are there are comparatively rare. To make enough McDonald's and Burger King or whatever for all of these city folks who have suddenly appeared. And so that is kind of creating a mismatch of who is available for what jobs in what places. And so I think the dynamics of how, the entire economy in the U.S. and probably a lot of other countries around the world have changed somewhat because of migration.
I mean, if you look at the numbers in San Francisco, and I remember my friends were telling me about their living and working conditions, and of course these are all data journalism students that I knew from UC Berkeley, and they were all working at, Apple and Google and all of these, really good companies, but they're making very little money, and they told me that for them to get a room in San Francisco, it costs $2,400 per month. That's how much I was paying. Even in New York, that's how much we're paying for our 2-bedroom apartment in total, and they're it's $2,400 for them per person. And then for me to even look at that number in Chinese money, that's even crazier.
12 years ago, I was paying $1,500 for a room in someone's house's duplex that they were renting from a Chinese family who lives on the other part of the duplex. So there's 10 people living in this house, and my part of the rent was $1,500.
Oh my God!
That's a share of that.
That's crazy to think about, and I always wonder, and I look at all of these reports of how many people are what they call not digital nomads, but people who work in Silicon Valley who just decided not to live in a home anymore because financially it makes 0 sense to them. And if we're just talking about having...
where are they living? They sleep at work?
They live in their cars.
Really? Wow.
There was a huge trend of people just not living in apartments anymore. They live in their cars, and they could shower in their company and whatever. And I'm not going to lie, I did think about it, because there's a gym in our company.
Oh my gosh, you just nailed it. I was going to tell you a story. I was going to tell you a story. So you finish your story, then I'm going to tell you my story.
Right? So I was thinking a sleep room. There's a break room. Men break room. There's a women's break room, and there's I think 6 beds in there. You can go in there and take a nap. I was like, what if someone decides to? And because my company work really late too. I'm like, what if someone just decides to work late there every day, and they take a shower at the gym, and they could technically live in the company? I'm like, is that okay?
Well, I knew a guy back in my the town I grew up in.
Tim Bigum. Chinese President Xi Jinping has sent a congratulatory message to the Icebreakers 2022 Chinese New Year celebration hosted by a British trade organization. The 48-group club hosted the event in London, supported by the China-Britain Business Council and the China Chamber of Commerce in the UK. In the 1950s, people from the British business community, including Jack Perry, broke through the blockades and started trading with China. They are hailed as breakers. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Britain. The Chinese president called on people of the two countries to uphold the ice-breaking spirit and to continue expanding cooperation. Chinese President Xi Jinping has sent a congratulatory letter to the China night in Beijing with the theme, Together for... Xi Jinping says China's ready to deliver a simple, safe, and splendid Winter Olympics. And he hopes the participants at the forum will pool their wisdom and help to promote development of Olympic winter sports. Japan confirmed over 71,000 new COVID-19 cases across the country on Wednesday, logging a new record. Amid the rapid spread of the Omicron variant, the metropolitan government confirmed more than 14,000 new infections, exceeding the record set on Tuesday. Western Osaka Prefecture reported over 9,800 new infections on Wednesday, also logging a new record. And that's the news. I'm Tim Bigum.
Epic tales of mystery and magic. To account for battle and empire. From the verses of ancient poets to the masterpieces of our time. A light on literature, brings closer literary heritage, and the world in a new light.
Hi, I'm Fang Rui. On today's A Light on Literature, we continue by presenting the book, The Spirit of the Chinese People, written by Gu Hongmin, a Malaysian Chinese scholar of the late Qing Dynasty. First published in 1915, Gu wrote in the preface that the object of the book was an attempt to impart the spirit of the real Chinese people and all the value of the Chinese civilization. Gu's opinions were personal and confined to a certain period in history. But it offers an interesting viewpoint and reference for readers to consider and to understand the impact of Confucianism on the Chinese and their culture. In our last episode, Gu Hongmin talked about state and family religion. The author explained that the Chinese did not feel the need for religion because Confucianism took its place. Today, Manuel narrates The Spirit of the Chinese People, Part 5, in which Gu talks about moral law and the law of the gentleman in Confucianism. Enjoy.
All great men, all men with great intellect, have all always believed in God. Confucius also believed in God, although he seldom spoke of it. Even Napoleon, with his great practical intellect, believed, i.e., our heart. Therefore, when we take conscience, our heart, as the law of our being and obey it, we are liable and apt to obey. Not the voice of what I have called the soul of justice, the indefinable absolute essence of justice that the motivates in a man's heart. In obeying the law of our being, we must obey the true law of our being, not the animal or carnal law of our being taught by St. Paul, the law of the mind of the flesh, and very well defined by the famous disciple of Auguste Comte, Monsieur Little, as the law of self-preservation or restriction. But the true law of our being taught by St. Paul, the law of the mind of the state, and defined by Confucius as the law of the citizen. Only two human emotions contained in that kind of one. For which The newest equivalent of working language is in the old China Christianity body, because it is not like quality in law or a modern standard, humility, love of humility, or in one word, love. This, then, is the inspiration in religion, the paramount virtue in religion. It has principally to make men to enable and make even the mass of mankind obey the rules of moral conduct. Which forms the divine order of the universe. In that way, the first part of the science of the Chinese people, introduced by Chinese, are merited by all men. It is the most time on a long literature for Taipei of the spirit of the Chinese people. In which we talk about how the thinking of the one side on the spirit of the other, necessary to enable and to make them obey the rules of the moral conduct. 很方位，体力差。Would you like to receive the wages and use that gift and the rest of the prize? Music, business, or sound entertainment, please discuss it. The price of those who are work is free and not a happiness, satisfied with the offering. Picture, or quality of We all uncovered clouds with never 你好，欢迎收听随行汉语。Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm your host. Joining me today, the artsy and athletic Tony Lee. And for you now, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip with the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and experience the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, here on Learn Chinese, to watch many. But now, let's provide you with a free Chinese for takeaway. 你今天中午去哪儿了？陪朋友吃火锅去了。你不是说要谈生意去吗？没错，我们一边吃火锅一边谈生意啊。
So this is definitely something that I think a lot of people talk about, going out to eat, and I don't know, like for me, or hot pot is a very special experience.
Oh, really? We're going to discuss how special it is and why it's so special a little bit later in the second half, and I'll try to tell you some words or give you some Chinese expressions to, express your feeling about it. You can say, 就是对我来讲，对我来讲，吃火锅很特别。Eating hot pot is very special. We'll discuss that later after we break down the sentences word by word. Yes. 你今天中午去哪儿了？
So where were you at noon? So here you mean 今天 for today, right? And so I'm guessing this is noon, right?
Noon, 中午 noon.
And it's 去哪儿了? So I guess where were you?
Yeah, so 去 is kind of like go.
Yeah.
So 哪儿 is where. Love suggests that this is something happening past.
Right.
So you, 今天 today, 中午 noon, 去 go, 哪儿 where.
So it's kind of like where did you go at noon? But I guess it kind of has the same meaning as like where were you?
你今天中午去哪儿了? If you want to ask, 你昨天晚上去哪儿了?
昨天. They don't tell me it's yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So 昨天晚上 would be last night.
What would you do?
So we're teaching grumpy Chinese today. Yes. So 不是告诉你了吗? Haven't I told you already? 不是吗? So you have 不是 in the beginning of the sentence, and you have the verb, and then you have you. 了吗?
Just so I recall that, so this is, how do you say that, didn't I tell you that? So 不是
告诉过你了吗?
告诉
告诉好你 you 了吗?
I've told you that already. Haven't I told you, Tina? See? There you go.
Just don't say this to me, okay? Because you have to reiterate things to me a lot.
No way. I am always the conversation. Yes. So here, let's say part A in the conversation got a little bit angry, saying, 你不是说要去谈生意吗? Couldn't you tell me that you want
to talk business?
Yeah, and now you're, having hot pot. How dare you having hot pot without me? Yeah. And then he said, 没错，我们一边吃火锅，一边谈生意啊。
So we talk about business while we
Exactly. Yes.
Like, oh yeah, it's okay, right?
没错 is like you're right. No, wrong. 没 is no. 错 is wrong. So you're not wrong.
Not wrong.
没错。
And then 我们一边 so we 一边 this is like one sentence, right?
Actually, 一边 is to start with a sentence structure. 一边 is like while. 一边 is one side.
One side.
One side. Literally speaking, one side. And 一边 is kind of like saying there are many sides of a story. And on one side, happens. On the other side, something else will happen. You cannot say it's wrong if I just give the side of information. It's implying that. But actually, 一边 is the structure you use when you want to say 一边我们一边做节目，一边做直播。
You're saying that only two things are happening at the same time.
Exactly. So 一边
我们一边吃火锅，一边生意。
Here is saying it's stressing that I was not lying. 不是 unanimously. No one. No can. 打败 defeat. 我们 us. If we unite, no one can defeat us. In the past century, China has always placed the united front in a position of importance. 我们团结一切可以团结的力量。We have united all the forces that can be united. We owe all we have achieved over the past 100 years to the concerted efforts of the Chinese nation. In the future, we will keep our belief, 团结起来. Let's unite and work together to a bright future. This is a short video series on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Learn Chinese. In this you will find shows including more than mentoring, self-wisdom, new insights, and step-by methods. Let's meet up there and share the joy of Chinese learning.
Dive into the sports world with sideline stories, our weekly podcast that brings you the most up-to-date game analysis and the latest sports action. Subscribe to Sideline Story on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you listen to your podcast.
Want to learn about world affairs in a more laid-back and accessible manner? Join the fighters, experts, and analysts in the casual setting of the chat lounge to share their personal experiences and opinions on major events and current issues. Subscribe to Chat Lounge for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Starting this March.